Right, so we're today with Reece Peacock in the Pitbike 140s. Reece, pleasure to have you with us. And it's it's been a pretty strong season for you so far. And how are you feeling coming into round 3?
Feeling confident. Been here yesterday, done quite well yesterday. Was quite happy with the day. Yeah, just went out steady away this morning in warm up. Yeah, we'll just see what the qualifying and racing brings. To be fair, just if I can be in the front group, I'll be happy. We're just nice and clean. Don't do anything silly. It's a long championship. Got something like that to think about. But it's early days. Yeah, I'm happy today. Nice weather, that makes it better.
Absolutely, and well, you said it's a long championship, but it's one that's going well for you so far. I mean, cast your mind back to Lid, that last corner overtake for the win. Have you got your hopes up yet? Are you kind of thinking long-term championship goals yet?
Well, I wasn't, and then last race at Lid went well, obviously. Landau went well, and then coming in here, sort of, perked up a little bit. But Rossi Banham, you can't discount Rossi Banham, Taylor Lawrence, Chris Wells, and then Pitbike Sonic, Jay. You never know. And
well, I mean, it's the Pitbike 140 field here is so strong at FAB, isn't it? I mean, it's great to see that you've got such a strong field of riders, all fighting. Obviously, it's a great community to be in as well. You guys are all really firm friends, and that's great to see.
Yeah, but just all mates and just come away racing. It's really good. There's no bad blood between any of us. The racing's generally always clean. There's no dirty moves. It's really close but fair, which is how it should be, really.
Yeah, of course, representing the more senior members of the FAB-Racing paddock, shall we say. And well, best of luck to you this weekend, Reece. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh no, cheers, thank you. See ya.
Well, great to see you back in the FAB paddock. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good to be back, enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've been off living your high life in Spain, and then you've come back for our last 2 rounds as well. Back to your roots as well, both as a rider, as a commentator. It's great to see you. And how are you looking forward to round 3 here at Ellough?
Yeah, it should be good. I really like the track. Track's awesome. Loads of fun. Never ridden here before, but when I went on yesterday, it was really good fun. Really enjoying it. Good to be back. Good to be back on a bike as well. With a lot less pressure, a lot more fun. Yeah, enjoying it.
And are you aiming for results today, or is it just kind of a go around, have a laugh, enjoy yourself kind of affair?
If we can get solidly in the top 10, that would be good. I mean, you always want to win. I always want to win. But I know at the moment it's not possible. So somewhere within top 5 and top 10.
And well, what's your plan for the rest of the season? Are you going to be kind of coming back on and off? Is this the last time we're going to see you? Can we expect some more Trystan action over the year?
Yeah, I'll be popping back to a couple. I don't think I'll make the next one, but it depends which ones clash with some of the MotoGP rounds. I have to stay committed to them for work. But the ones that I can make, I'll definitely be here.
That's great too. Well, thanks very much, Trystan, and enjoy your races out there.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
And next up is something completely different. It's the Pitbike 140s. This is some of the craziest racing you're probably going to see all weekend. It has big names in this class, and well, it has fierce racing in this class. They're almost all identical bikes, and it produces racing that is usually going to the track limits, and then beyond that. So track limits may be a massive talking point in this race, so we're just going to have to wait and see. But it's the loudest race of the weekend, actually, and it's not only the loudest but the biggest race of the weekend. There's so many riders in this class. I mean, there's 30 riders taking part in this race, which is, well, it's something that you don't normally see. But Rossi Banham will be looking for a race victory. Rossi Banham right now leading the way, making them come to the grid. But it's Reece Peacock who will start in pole position, and now Reece Peacock this round, he is so easy to see. I mean, he's in the brightest levers possible, I would say, with Rossi Banham starting in 2nd place, Lucas Brown in 3rd, Taylor Lawrence starting in 4th, with Chris Wells in 5th, Richard Holmes-Williams will start in 6th, with Jump Start Jamie King starting in 7th, Nathan Riggey starting in 8th, and Trystan FINOCCHIARO, previous FAB-Racing commentator, now Dorna employee and previous racer himself, will be starting in 9th. Marco Pandolfo will be starting in 10th, with Dan MERRON was starting in 11th, Sean Whittaker in 12th, Liam Wood in 13th, Zac TOERIEN in 14th, Harley McCabe in 15th, and Sam Smithson starts 16th, rounding off the 8th row of the grid. Thomas DOODSON will be starting 17th, Mathew Lindley will be starting 18th, Elliot CROSBY 19th, Adam Redden 20th, Chris GEESON 21st, Chadley Whitting is 22nd.
Giorgio SCARLATA. We'll get through the grid eventually. There's a lot of riders. Bear with us, please.
Starting 23rd. Paul Whitson, 24th. Dean Stimpson starting 25th. Benn RIDGWELL starting 26th. Paul COOMBS 27th. Ben Hitwitt will be starting 28th. Paul starting 29th, and Charlie Eagle was starting 30th. That is one long grid and one tongue twister of some names in that.
I mean, there's so many riders wanting to be in this class nowadays that they actually have to take an application. You have to like reserve your spot on the grid per round. So it is absolutely massive. Jumpstart Jamie, as you mentioned, I'm sure he'll be looking for a better run this time out in the Pitbike 140s. Of course, this is his home race as well at Ellough Park. He's not far down the road from here, so you know this is his home race. But it is, of course, as you mentioned, Reece Peacock, last corner Reece, as opposed to for giving out nicknames, because he's won 2 races this season with last corner overtakes on the final lap. Rossi Banham, championship leader and a vice champion last year, starts alongside him. Lucas Brown is in P3, with Taylor Lawrence, your champion from last year, in P4. And well, now, as you said, Lewis, this is some of the craziest racing that we're going to see all weekend long. These guys are neck and neck, side by side, using all the track limits and then some every single lap of the race. And we've got 12 laps of pit bike action to all to. It's loud, it's fast, and it is very, very exciting.
Yeah, this is the Pitbike 140s. They're just making their way around this warm-up lap. They're all mates in this class. They all will have a laugh. They're almost everyone in this class is doing it for fun, and there's a rider, Harrison McKay, pushing his bike off of the grid. Maybe some bike issues. Yeah, I believe so. He's just trying to get something put back on his bike to then hopefully he can start this race. But it's such a big grid that it's going to take so much time for all these riders to arrive that he does have time. But I believe, yep, that is him gave up. He's sat on the tyre wall now. So we are just waiting for the lights to come on. It is Reece Peacock who will start in pole position with Rossi Banham in the front row. All attention will be brought to the lights as we wait for these 30 riders to head down to turn 1. The tension's rising, nerves are building. Although this is for fun, they care. Reece Peacock will be staring at lights, everyone's staring at lights, and lights are out of the way we go. And now it looks like Rossi Banham leads the way to the first corner. Reece Peacock got quite a bad start, and Taylor Lawrence makes his way into 3rd place. Rossi Banham leads the way from number 29.
They head through. Rossi Banham into the lead from Reece Peacock. A great start there. Taylor Lawrence as well got a great jump away from the lights. He's in P3. Of course, your reigning champion in those bright green new leathers. He's very easy to spot, isn't he? And now, hold your horse, everyone. Let the first lap do its thing. Let the riders all kind of find their rhythm, and then let battle commence, because I kid you not. Oh my goodness me, already look how close Peacock was to the rear wheel of Rossi Banham. Oh, I'm going to lose my voice, aren't I? It's going to be one of those races. Rossi Banham leading the way into Mini Rossi, the corner named after, well, it's got the same name as him. It's not named after him, of course. We spoke to, it was named after earlier. But as we move around, it's Rossi Banham that leads the way on lap 1. And just look at the amount of lean that these guys are getting through these corners. This is a big proper bike. These things are fast on those slick tyres. And Rossi Banham currently controlling this race. One thing to note that we were discussing earlier, Lewis, the lap record, Rossi Banham and Reece Peacock, both of their qualifying times were below the lap record in qualifying before the track's even properly robbered in across the weekend. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, the lap record's going to go. The sun's come in as well, so we've got time for the track to cool down a little bit as well, because it's probably a little bit too hot right now. Going to be challenging. It is Banham from Peacock, from Lawrence, from Chris Wells on P4. Lucas Brown's dropped to P6, unfortunately, but Rossi Banham leading the way once again through Mini Rossi, and Reece Peacock looking quite close. Taylor Lawrence as well behind. That's not Taylor Lawrence, it's a different rider in the bright green leathers there as they cross the line. Reece Peacock fastest lap at 50.076 is that the lap record already. It's been 2 laps. 2 laps and Reece Peacock's got a lap record of 50 dead. Why do I bother? It's a lap record for Reece Peacock. Rossi Banham, though, still leading the race. It's been 2 laps and we've got a lap record. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's exactly what we were expecting to see after the result in qualifying. Rossi Banham leads the way. He was 2/10 slower than Reece Peacock at that time round, but they both were under the lap record. Some smoke coming out of Rossi Banham's bike there, but just 10 laps to go. This 10 laps will go past so quick. Every single corner matters in this class, and it's Rossi Banham who will be pushing 100% into every single corner because he is leading the way with just 9 laps to go. Will we see another lap record? No, we will not, but it's still a 50.4. That would just be 1/10 off the old lap record, and there's confirmation of the lap record. Reece Peacock, a 50.076. That is an incredible lap by an incredible rider in what will be an incredible race with just 9 laps to go. Rossi Banham still leads the way. Taylor Lawrence a little bit off, 1.2 seconds off. We're used to seeing him further up, but maybe he's just biding his time and sussing out Reece Peacock and seeing where he can try and get past, because this Ellough Park circuit is so tight, it's so twisty, and with 30 bikes on track, I think we're going to see lap traffic come into play once again.
Oh, we definitely will. We've already seen lap traffic come into play a few times today. Maybe today we'll get involved as well. And, well, Rossi Banham took a sweep here last season, all 3 race victories. Well, he's trying to get it all set off in the same way. He has a quick glance back to see where Reece Peacock is. Sees he's not close enough rather to challenge into turn 1. So it's Banham from Peacock, from Lawrence, still your top 3. Wells Brown has moved back up to P5 as well as HOLMES-WILLIAMS drops back. There's Jay King and his home race at P7, Jumpstart Jamie, Nathan Riggey in P8, Trystan FINOCCHIARO P9, Sean Whittaker rounding out the top 10 with 8 laps to go. And honestly, I think Peacock is just playing mind games at this point with Rossi Banham, because we know that Peacock's got, obviously he doesn't know he's got the lap record. He might have known it's a very good lap, but he doesn't know for certain that he's actually got it. So, Rossi Banham smoking, oh dear. Now, we were speaking to Rossi earlier, and we know once again reliability issues were rearing its head on that 196 machine, and smoke once again coming out of the back of Rossi Banham's bike. Now, of course, we're going to touch wood and hope everything's okay, but you know, when something's smoking, it's not a good sign. It's on and off. So hopefully Rossi Banham is able to stay in this race, because he's leading it right now, and he's doing a very, very good job, if I do say so myself. But Reece Peacock isn't making it easy for him. He's still putting the pressure. He's looking to the outside. Taylor Lawrence, about 3 riders just extending the track like there's no tomorrow there. As there is Rossi Banham, your race leader, of course, a former BTC rider, now off doing it's junior super stock, I believe, isn't it, this year that he's off doing. So he's off enjoying the BSB world and leading here in the Pitbike 140s. But can his bike hold on, and can he hold on to that lead with Reece Peacock in tow?
Yeah, I mean, Rossi Banham's going to be trying as hard as he can, but now lap traffic's starting to come into play. But Reece Peacock really has the upper hand here. Although he's in second place, he has all the information, but there's a back marker, and it's really when you hit them and when you get to them is really how this race may be decided. We've seen at Lid, it was decided then there was a collision with a back marker. You just need to try to stay calm, but it's so hard whenever you're leading a race and then back markers get in play. I've seen Taylor Lawrence extending track limits there, let's just say, but Rossi Banham still leads the way. Rossi Banham looks to be in a pretty good lap right now. We see a bit more smoke come out his bike, but it may just be because his bike's running a little bit too rich. So it's Smokey Joe leading the way, let's call him that now. I mean, it's 6 laps to go in this race. We come round the last corner to make it 5. Taylor Lawrence slightly off, but Reece Peacock's still sitting there, seeing where he can pass. It's so hard to pass, as I've already mentioned. And there's another rider in bright green levers, very similar to Taylor Lawrence. A bit more smoke once again coming out Rossi Banham's bike. He'll just be hoping to make it to the end of this weekend at least. But right now, it's all about making it to the end of this race, and for Rossi Banham's sake, in the lead of this race when he crosses the line. And there's another rider stopped there.
So yeah, the 272 unfortunately having problems there. That is a big shame for Adam Redding. Looks to be out of this race. Mathew Lindley also had a problem in that lap. I don't know about you, Lewis, but I can smell a not healthy bike smell here in the commentary box. So Reece Peacock is probably getting an absolute face full of some not very pleasant engine smells that shouldn't be coming from the back of Rossi Banham's bike. But there's 4 laps to go. Rossi still holding on to the lead. These two have broken away. Taylor Lawrence too far back to do anything. And once again, Rossi Banham just doing everything he can to hold on to that lead, and again, just smoke billowing from the exhaust of that bike, and Reece Peacock still trying to look for a way on. Both of the bikes wiggling under the brakes. They're pushing so hard. Reece Peacock looks to the inside, coming out of Holmes hairpin, but is unable to make the gap appear. So Rossi heads through into the very tight and twisty final section, coming through Clinton's and into Barney's now as he searches his way through. It's I'm really not sure what's going on. Hopefully the bike, it's not gone yet, touch wood. Seems to be okay. It might just be running rich, as you say, Lewis, because performance wise it doesn't seem to be affecting it too badly, as we've got a rider down there coming down through last corner. That is the number 9 Reece Peacock, a 49.918, the first rider into the 49s. That is unbelievable. As we see though, the number 9 down, Dean Stimpson. A shame, hopefully he's okay. But it is Reece Peacock now with another lap record of 49.918. A brilliant lap there. He had one earlier on. He's got another one now with 3 laps to go. He's putting the pressure on Rossi Banham.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Rossi Banham has got to know that he's still in his tail. You've seen multiple times this race, he's just looking behind, seeing if Reece Peacock is still there, and he is every single time. There's nothing separating them. Just 3 laps to go in this race. Rossi Banham's bike still getting little puffs of smoke. Maybe that is just unburnt, feeling it running a bit too rich, but we come across the line to make it 2 laps to go. Rossi Banham still leads the way. Reece Peacock just 3/10 back. He has all the information, as I mentioned earlier, and he's learned all this race. He may just be leaving it till the last lap. I mean, if he made the last lap, Rossi Banham would not be expecting it, as he's led the way and he thinks that he is in control of this race, but Reece Peacock would say otherwise happily. I mean, just 2 laps to go. Taylor Lawrence still in 3rd place. Consistent race for him, but 4.5 seconds back, so we'll be definitely going to the drawing board for the next race, seeing where he can improve as we come round the chicane to the hairpin. Reece Peacock still on Rossi Banham's tail, coming round the left and then to the right, which will be the final corner to make it to the last lap of this race. Rossi Banham leads the way, but will it stay that with 1 lap to go? Will we be saying Rossi Banham wins the race or Reece Peacock wins the race? Let's find out. Reece Peacock on the back. He looks so determined. You can see from his body language and his riding style. Rossi Banham, a big puff of smoke coming out the back of his bike in Reece Peacock's face. That'll be slightly distracting, but Reece Peacock trying to find a different line, taking a slightly wider line, while Rossi Banham makes no room for Reece Peacock to head down the inside. Reece Peacock though on his tail, they're practically glued together. They're coming around to the last half of the race. They've passed the chicane now to the final sector, to the final hairpin before we head round to the final couple of corners. There's a back marker in the way. Rossi Banham dives up the inside. Will this affect Reece Peacock? Reece Peacock also gets through, but a gap is slightly formed. We head around the final corner and it's Rossi Banham to win the race, the first race of Pitbike 140s by just 0.2 of a second. As you can see, once again, Rossi Banham, a little wheelie, the little wave to Reece Peacock. They're both mates. They both will have enjoyed that. And Taylor Lawrence brings it home with a 7.5 second gap to round off the podium.
Yeah, great stuff there from Rossi Banham's holder, with Reece Peacock pushing him all of the way. And as you said, Lewis, that real family community of Fab here continues in the pit like the 40s. A real tight-knit and real close community. And I mean, there you can see the top 3 as well. Rossi Banham, Reece Peacock P2, reigning champion Taylor Lawrence in P3 as well. And that was a great race, and I say that, you know, wholeheartedly, because by Pitbike standards that was probably quite dull, to be honest. Not a lot really went on by Pitbike standards, but outside of Pitbike standards that was brilliant. Rossi Banham, your overall winner there. Reece Peacock in P2, Taylor Lawrence rounds out the podium with Chris Wells in P4, Lucas Brown is P5, Jumpstart J King in P6, Nathan Riggey is P7, Trystan FINOCCHIARO improves up to P8, with Sean Whittaker and Zac TOERIEN rounding out the top 10. That concludes your Pitbike action for today. But of course, don't be afraid, because we go all of the race 2s and race 3s and all of the categories tomorrow.
On the road to MotoGP, this is FAB-Racing.
Race 2 for the Pitbike 140s, and well, we were speaking to some of the riders earlier, and they were in agreement with us that race 1 by Pitbike standards was dull and boring, because they were all talking amongst themselves and were like, you know, we think this is going to be chaos, it's going to be a crash fest, you know, it's basically who's got the luck to stay on the bike. But in the end, you know, it was still a great race, but by their standards it was very clean, very dull. So I think a few people may be having a little internal conversation going, come on then, let's try and switch it up a little bit this time, shall we? And Reece Peacock and Rossi Banham from the front row, they put on a great display for us yesterday. And we know that Reece, he's got a new engine in the bike as well, so he'll be looking to move very, very quickly indeed.
Yeah, it certainly will. I mean, it was a great race by no standards. I mean, Reece Peacock, he did say earlier that he did have a new engine in the bike and he had some gearbox issues, so he'll be definitely out for vengeance today. Rossi Banham, we did see his bike smoking yesterday. Will we see it again? Will his bike hold up? We didn't know if it was going to last race 1 yesterday, so will it last for the rest of the weekend? Rossi Banham having a little conversation on the grid there just before we get underway. Race control, as you can see on your right hand side of your screen. But yeah, Lucas Brown also in your picture there with the purpley blue levers in the third bike in your picture. And it's always close racing. Although yesterday it wasn't what we expected, it was still a great race, as you said, and hopefully today it'll be even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. A massive grid of 30 riders here in the pit bike. The pit bikes are now such a popular class. They're the most popular class of FAB that they have to take reservations for who's going to be at the race because they're oversubscribed. There's too many people in the pit bikes. It's quite unbelievable. You can see there the grid stretching around the final corner. It's just unbelievable, making sure that everybody's in their right place, making sure they've got the last preparations. Everybody's sitting there anticipating on the grid. I think we've got a few bikes still in the holding area, actually still to come out, so maybe some problems getting out of the paddock. But the last bike I'm just seeing out of my window now, managing to get out on their way and get going, and then so we can finally get going on the formation lap. As it'll be Reece Peacock going from the pole position. Rossi Banham, who won the race yesterday, starting alongside him. Lucas Brown is in P3 with reigning champion Taylor Lawrence in P4. Chris Wells is 5 with Richard Holmes-Williams in P6. Jamie King starts in P7. This is his home track and he's a 3-time pit bike champion. How can he do? Nathan Riggey is in P8. Trystan FINOCCHIARO, an international superstar and former FAB commentator, in P9. Marco Pandolfo rounds out the top 10. Dan Merrin is 11th with Sean Whittaker in 12th. Liam Wood is 13th and Zac TOERIEN is 14th. Harrison McKay and Sam SMITHSON break the 8th row of the grid. Thomas DOODSON, Mathew Lindley, Elliot CROSBY and Adam Redding rounding up the top 10. I believe Elliot CROSBY may potentially be starting from the back after being late from the holding area. Chris GEESON is in 21st with Chadley WHITING in 22nd. Giorgio SCARLATA is 23rd with Paul HISTON in 24th. Dean Stimpson is 25th. Benn RIDGWELL is 26th. And then the grid is finished by Paul COOMBS, Ben HEWITT, Pawel NOSAL and Charlie Eagling in his first Pitbike 140 event, rounding out the 30 riders. And well, I feel there's a bit more of an air of anticipation around this race than the other ones, Lewis. I feel like it's about to kick off.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, every single rider will know on that grid that this is about to get crazy. The pit bikes are always crazy. It takes so long for these front boys just to sit on the grid and wait for the other 29, 28 bikes to arrive. They're waiting here for quite a while, staring at the flag marshal, waiting for them to point up to the lights to then go out, and then they can head down to the first corner for what is going to be an insane race. I mean, Rossi Banham will be out for vengeance as we just wait for 1 or 2 final changes on the grid to be made, and then we can get underway. You can see Roger Keys in your picture there, our race control, the person that really does it all. And then as we wait for the lights to turn on, the lights are on and the lights are off, and we are racing here. Rossi Banham gets a good start, but Reece Peacock gets pushed all the way down to 3rd. Rossi Banham leads the way, but it's a great start also from Taylor Lawrence in 2nd place. Taylor Lawrence, we didn't see too much of him yesterday in his bright green levers, but Rossi Banham now is his chance to go, because yesterday it was him and Reece Peacock at the front, but now he's leading the way, and now there's Lucas Brown also getting involved in the mix. This may let Rossi Banham get away if these riders behind them start a scrap.
Yeah, great start there from Taylor Lawrence, but losing out to Lucas Brown. Rossi Banham, meanwhile, great start, getting into the lead, absolutely perfect. Reece Peacock, though, that was really not what he would have wanted, going massively backwards. I think he just didn't react in time, to be brutally honest with you. But now Rossi Banham, is he able to pull away? Or can those front 4, those riders that we always see up the front of the pit bike races get going? It's loud, it's noisy, it's going to be Rossi Banham leading the way on lap 1 as he flies down into turn 1 at Degner 1, but it very, very close behind Taylor Lawrence, Taylor Lawrence did go back into the lead briefly, and I believe Lucas Brown actually swapped places. So Lucas Brown back into P2. It's still Rossi Banham leading the race. There you can see, I think Rossi Banham actually maybe having a bit of a transponder issue for a moment. He's not appearing on the left-hand side of your screen, but he is in the lead of this race for the time being. No, there you go, he's now popped into place. Great stuff. So Rossi Banham from Lucas Brown, who's massively closed up and actually having a look into the inside of Barney's, can't make it appear, but it's Banham from Brown, from Lawrence, from Peacock, your top four, very, very close together.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's going to stay like this for the whole race now. Rossi Banham will try absolutely everything, though, to try and get away, because if you can get away, every other rider behind you will just start fighting each other in the group. But Rossi Banham having a little look behind, checking to see who was there. But Reece Peacock, he did put a new engine in because he was having gearbox issues, so maybe it has a slightly different clutch with a slightly different biting point, and he just didn't get a good start because it's not what he's used to. So it's quite a bad launch for him, but there we go, straight away into the 50s. 50.6 from Rossi Banham on that second lap.
Yeah, that's a great lap. It's about not quite a second off of the lap record that we saw yesterday from Reece Peacock. We just have to wait and see. Rossi Banham leading the way. Lucas Brown still challenging, though, still on the back of that bike of the junior supersport rider over in BSB. Well, Rossi, we know, is a very talented rider, but all of these guys at the front are very talented rider. Banham, Brown, Lawrence, Peacock, Wells, King, Holmes and Riggey as well. Those guys are the kind of the top 8. They're the guys that are always in the top 8. They're always fighting for places. We've got a bit of split here from the top 4. They're starting to pull away, as we'd expect. And now it's all about when do you go? When are you willing to go? We know that Reece Peacock, he likes to leave it to the very last minute. He's made 2 race-winning moves on the final corner of the final lap this season already. Maybe he's thinking about going for a third. We'll have to wait and see. 9 laps to go here in race 2 of the Pitbike 140s, and it's Rossi Banham currently in control, but it's not over yet. Getting heavily pressured by Brown.
Yeah, Brown just setting the fastest lap of the race that time around with a 49.9. He clearly has the pace, but 9 laps to go in this race, and one thing that will come into play is back markers. We've seen it once and we'll see it again. The back markers in this race can sometimes decide it. We've seen it at Lids, we've seen it at Quandel. It depends when you hit them, and Rossi Banham, he's so experienced, obviously been in the British Superbike paddock, but so is Lucas Brown, so they'll both know how to get past them and how to do it cleanly. But that time round, there was nothing in their lap times. 80 thousandths of a second difference in their lap times between Banham and Brown. I mean, there's nothing separating. The bikes are almost identical, and the riders' abilities are identical as well. There's nothing they can do to break away. This is going to be it to the end of the race. The top 5 or 6, you can realistically say, have a chance for the victory.
Yeah, I think that was HOLMES-WILLIAMS maybe compromising his corner exit, trying to look to the inside of J King, who may have made a mistake. He's dropped back from Chris Wells there. So J King, oh, there's that, it's because someone's gone down. Chris Wells, actually, I'm not seeing him in it, so I think Chris Wells may have gone down somewhere. We'll see when they come to the line this time by, because J King is suddenly either a long way back, or Chris Wells, or maybe he's overtaking Chris Wells and I'm just being absolutely blind. Yeah, he has. My mistake. So Jamie King gets up into P5 there. Chris Wells dropping back. That's not what he would have wanted, into P6, but he's challenging to the inside anyway, having a look, unable to make the gap up here. J King obviously at his home circuit here. No jump starts so far in any of the categories today. Let's hope it stays that way. He's holding on to P5. Up the front it's still Banham from Brown, from Lawrence from Peacock. Lawrence maybe starting to think about putting a bit of pressure. Of course, he's the reigning Pitbike champion and a very, very talented rider. And I know that he'll be wanting to move forward. He'll be trying to search his way past Brown and give it a go with his one of his closest friends, yet one of his closest rivals, Rossi Banham. Those two inseparable off track and on track, but for very different reasons.
Yeah, I know your screen right now. You have Trystan FINOCCHIARO, previous FAB commentator, previous FAB commentator, and he also has a 2-second timing penalty for track limits. We were warned about the start of the weekend, and we were told if you keep impeding track limits 3 times, you will gain a penalty, and he has. And there's a rider down over there, can't see number 62, Chris Wells.
Chris Wells, yeah,
down
wow,
on the
big
deck
surprise.
at the final chicane of the lap, really. But yeah, Trystan FINOCCHIARO, he's returned from Spain. He brought the weather with him once again, but this time round, 2-second penalty. He's not going to be too happy with that.
Yeah, naughty from Trystan FINOCCHIARO. Combination, I used to commentate over this stuff. Big shame there for Chris Wells as well. That was quite a big fall that he seems to have had there, actually shaking his wrist as he got up. So hopefully he's all okay. But that means it promotes Holmes and King and Riggey all the way up. So gaining places for the rest of the field. But Banham still in the lead, starting to pull a little bit of a gap. It's about 0.8 of a second now, and he's actually set a new lap record a few laps ago, I do apologise, by 5,000ths of a second. Rossi Banham now has a lap record with a 49.913. The previous one was a 41.918 from Reece Peacock in race 1. So Rossi Banham now has a lap record as well, and that is Brown and Lawrence having a bit of a do, and then maybe Reece Peacock going to try and take back from Taylor Lawrence, losing momentum, slides up the inside. Smart racing, smart move by Reece Peacock. He finally gets it going, moves up into P3, and Taylor Lawrence has it all to do now if he wants to challenge Banham, but Banham is starting to pull away little by little. You can see the gap getting visually bigger, and Peacock, he knows if he wants to challenge for the win, which he probably has the pace to try and do, he needs to clear Lucas Brown as quickly as possible. The gap this time by 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Brown being so aggressive, it's what we're used to seeing, but Taylor Lawrence, the real loser from that. It's just, it's chopping and changing, it's a game of chess. Whenever you make one move, sometimes you can go 2 places back. It's so strange. As soon as you try and make a move, it'll affect your driving, and the other 2 boys can come steaming past you, and using a bit more track limits there. A lot of the riders we're used to seeing at other tracks, they use a bit more than the tracks. It's something that we're used to seeing in this pit bike class, but we've been told, Trystan's already been bitten by it, you cannot use more than what's available at the racetrack. The white lines are your limit, and sometimes people don't respect that, and sometimes penalties are given. So hopefully these front 4, who are absolutely glued together pretty much, do not get a penalty, and hopefully it's just decided on the track, which is the way we want to see it. But now back markers are starting to come into play, and Rossi Banham actually setting another lap record that time round.
Exactly, he's gone on a whole 3,000ths faster this time, a 49.910. Fine margins, as that is a brilliant move by Reece Peacock through a very, very fast triple apex shoemaker corner up into P2. Brilliant stuff, and Banham has been held up by the traffic as well, so Reece Peacock, he gets around it quickly, and he does. So Banham's lost a lot of time on this lap. Reece Peacock, suddenly he can smell blood. There's 3 laps though, there'll be 2 at the line this time by some other riders side by side as well. Further back in the pack, Taylor Lawrence looks at the inside of Chris Wells, apologies. That's Lucas Brown. He's having to look inside, but it's still Rossi Banham leading this race. There's still 2 laps low. What's the time gap between them now? It was 1.3 at the line last time. It's 0.7 of a second, so Rossi Banham's lost almost half of the gap that he had, and Reece Peacock now will be getting his head down, and he'll be fully focused as the battle behind between Lawrence and Brown escalates. Peacock, he needs to get forward. He's got 1.5 laps left to go if he wants to challenge for this win.
Yeah, Rossi Banham's just 7/10. Reece Peacock will be able to taste blood. It looks like Rossi Banham's getting held up once again by a back marker. It really depends when you hit, but Rossi Banham going round the outside on the flip-flop there, but now Reece Peacock, he's gained probably a bit more time there, so we're going to have to wait at the line to see how much he's gained. It's 7/10 last time round. What will it be this time round? We're just going to have to wait and see. 3 more corners left of this lap before we head on to the last lap of the race. And now Rossi Banham's going to be pushing as hard as he can. He's going to be cracking them in the throttle as hard as he can. There's another rider of bright green levers, and then this time round the gap was 7/10 once again. So it looks like they've both been caught up, but it's Reece Peacock in second place. He had a wee look behind him just to see where Lucas Brown was, and Lucas Brown, it didn't look like he was too close, so now he can run his own lines and not ride too defensive. Because the thing is about this track, you need flow, and Lucas Brown getting slightly held up there by back markers, but Taylor Lawrence will be loving that. Taylor Lawrence will be wanting that podium place. Taylor Lawrence will be pushing as hard as he can. All these riders are giving it all. Rossi Banham still leading the way. It looks like he's got in the bag. Has he got anything left in the tank in his last 3 corners through the hairpin? Has a little look to see where his competitors are. He is already celebrating for the race is finished. 1 more corner left through the last corner, and he gives a little wave, and you can see the delight. A little wave. He is absolutely buzzing that. You can almost see the smile underneath his helmet. A little wave to Reece Peacock, a little thumbs up. Reece Peacock will be happy with that second place after all the drama that he's experienced over the past day.
Yeah, but a great result there for Rossi Banham. Fantastic riding there on display, and again with that lovely clear visor, it means we can see right through his helmet, and he looks absolutely delighted. Pulling a few wheelies as well. Disappointing there from Taylor Lawrence, I think, at the end. Not quite able to squeeze past Lucas Brown. I think he had the pace, but just unable to make the gap appear to the last few riders. There is your top 3. Rossi Banham, another great win for the junior superstock rider over in BSB. Reece Peacock, though, another great ride. Fell down to P4, back up into P2 in the end, with Lucas Brown managing to hold on there, rounding out the podium. The winning margin only 0.6 of a second. second. Reigning champion Taylor Lawrence managed to bring it home in P4 with Jay King at his home race in P5. Richard Holmes-Williams held on for P6 with Nathan Riggey in P7. Trystan FINOCCHIARO heading over from Spain here. He's in P8. Zac TOERIEN was P9. And rounding out the top 10 was Sean Whittaker. And another great race that we've just seen there in the Pitbike 140s. And Rossi Banham, that one will taste very, very sweet, I can guarantee you. What a great ride and what a great result. And of course, we've got more action to look forward to coming up later.
Let's go! The official BSB Partner Series. This is FAB-Racing.
Well then, it is time for a race I think we've all been waiting for. It is time for race 3 of the Pitbike 140s. We've had 2 action-packed races which, by their standards, have been dull. And even the riders themselves have admitted that. They've been expecting crashes, they've been expecting jostling position. We haven't had that in the pit bikes. It has been 2 brilliant races. And as they come out of the dummy grid, it's the man who's been dominant so far this weekend, Rossi Banham, on pole position. However, Reece Peacock, we know he's been challenging with that new engine on the bike as well. He's been very, very fast. What's going to happen this time then?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to have to wait and find out. I think this has been the last race day. It's going to be one of the craziest. I mean, I've seen Rossi Banham, he's cruelly the good mood, coming out of the pit lane there. He does elbow actually on the ground. So he's just getting warmed up. He's cruelly in the good mood. I mean, just having a little fist bump there with Taylor Lawrence in the bright green levers. I mean, they're so distinct and they're so easy to see. And they're both having a laugh with Lucas Brown on the grid there. Everyone's ready. There's Reece Peacock actually. They're just looking chilled. Got his visor down, doing the last couple checks, checking his gloves, trying to get his mind in the zone, while some of the younger riders, shall we say, is going for a more jokey, fun attitude, while Reece Peacock, complete focus, and as we wait to go in this first warm-up lap.
Exactly. We've got 30 riders out there, including Trystan FINOCCHIARO, former FAB commentator, an international megastar who apparently, despite his racing success around the world, doesn't know what a track limit is. 9-second penalty in race 2 for cutting the chicane 3 times. Naughty, naughty Trystan. And as we head out on our formation lap, it is Reece Peacock starting from pole position. Rossi Banham starts alongside him with Lucas Brown in P3 and reigning champion Taylor Lawrence in P4. Chris Wells is in 5th with Richard Holmes-Williams in P6. Jay King, 3-time champion in this class, obviously at his home race. He's in 7th with Nathan Riggey in 8th. Bad boy Trystan FINOCCHIARO is in P9 with Marco Pandolfo in P10. Dan Merrin is in 11th with Sean Whittaker in 12th. Liam Wood and Zac TOERIEN make the 7th row of the grid. It's Harrison McKay and Sam SMITHSON in 15th and 16th. Then it's Thomas Dawson, Mathew Lindley, Elliot Crosby and Adam Redding rounding out the top 20. They're followed by Chris GEESON and Chadley WHITING on row 11. Giorgio SCARLATA is 23rd with Paul HISTON in P24. Dean Stimpson is 25th with Benn RIDGWELL in P26. Paul COOMBS is 27th with Ben HEWITT in 28th. And rounding out the grid is Pawel NOSAL and the 14-year-old Charlie Eagling in his first FAB-Racing event in P30. We've got a big old grid of Pitbike 140s here. A long old formation out for the riders up the front who will be waiting. And of course, well, we've been waiting for it to kick off. You can tell that the tension in the pit bike paddock, you can tell they've all been waiting for something to kick off. They've all been waiting for an accident, for just regular pit bike antics, because it's all been relatively clean by their standards. And now I think, well, it's race 3. It's the one that everyone wants to win, and it's the one where I think it may all absolutely kick off. Let's wait and see what happens as we wait for the flag marshal to confirm. And there we go. It's red lights on, and it is red lights off. And it is not the best start from Chris Peacock against Rossi Banham, who gets the better launch from Peacock. Maybe swings around the outside. No, Banham squeezes through it as well. There we saw Taylor Lawrence going up into P3. So it's Banham from Reece Peacock, from Taylor Lawrence. Chris Wells, I think, may have gone up into P4. But a great start there from Rossi Banham. It's just a shame there. It's all up the inside. There it goes. That's Brown, I believe, up the inside of Taylor Lawrence there. But Rossi Banham leading the way. Some fighting further back. But for now, it's Peacock once again chasing Banham.
Yeah, I mean, great start there from Rossi Banham. He just straight away, just off out the gates, made a dive up the inside, it managed to stick, and now it's time to see, will he break away or will it bunch up? It's already looking like it's a freeway battle, but Taylor Lawrence, he's a very, very fast rider. We've seen him and Rossi Banham have battles all the way up for the year so far, so I do think he'll eventually bridge that gap. But Rossi Banham leads the way, ending the first lap of the race, and of course the fastest lap of the race, a 52.5 straight out the gate. Just 10 laps to go. This race goes by so quick, but it goes by so quick because it's so fierce. The racing is so fierce in this class. I mean, Reece Peacock, he's going about it completely differently today. I mean, he's just trying as hard as he can. He's got a new engine in that motorcycle. Slightly better start this race, but maybe not what he wanted. Rossi Banham getting the better start, and Rossi Banham leading the way. He's controlling the race so far. You really have to wonder, is this Rossi Banham pushing to his limit, or is this Rossi Banham just trying to control the race and just trying to keep everyone behind him without giving too much away?
Oh, big crash coming into Barney's hairpin. Believe there's multiple riders down, and there is multiple riders down. That's Jamie King. That is Jamie King, and a red flag. That is a big accident. Jamie King down. I'm not sure who the other rider was. We have a red flag here in race 3 of the Pitbike 140s, and hopefully Jay is okay. Obviously, having a big accident at any track is horrible, but at your home race as well, that is not what you want. And we have a red flag here in the Pitbike 140s. Marshall's running over as the bikes come to a stop. Of course, the regulation here at FAB-Racing is that you stop at the nearest Marshall post where there is a red flag. You don't all group up in one place. You basically stop where you get told to stop. So it's all a bit of a weird collection. A few of the riders have to move out the way as well. There we see as all of the riders come to a halt at the side of the track, having words, a few of them going over to check on Jay as well as the ambulance heads over. Hopefully everything is all right.
It's gonna be a great race, and it's gonna be great for all these riders. They can learn a lot, as you mentioned. Charlie Eaglin, obviously it's his first ever race weekend, so having riders like Terry Lawrence, Lucas Brown, Rossi Banham, you can learn so much from them. And with it being your first race weekend, you just soak it all in like a sponge, and you're just there to enjoy yourself. And whenever they come past you to lap you, because it does happen with these such fast riders, it's how you learn, and you just tag on the back of them, even if it's for a couple of corners. The amount that you can learn your first race weekend is immense, and the amount of fun he'll be having, because there's a race for everyone, although we only really see the first couple of guys because they are so fierce and they're so fast. There's battles all the way down the order.
Rossi Banham's having a conversation with Taylor Lawrence as they're pulling into the grid and having a laugh. That just shows you, that shows you the emotion. You've got Reece Peacock on pole position. He is all serious. He's got his visor down. He is on it. Rossi Banham having a laugh as he should be getting ready for the lights. Unbelievable contrast between the front two. But at the end of the day, they're both fierce competitors. Whatever works for them. Flag Marshal walks out of the way. It's time to go racing once again. Red lights are on. Red lights are off, and we're going. And it's a great start for Rossi Banham. Reece Peacock doesn't get away. Who's that? That's Lucas Brown sliding up into P2. Taylor Lawrence wasn't well his way this time either. Rossi Banham maintains the lead. Lucas Brown says Reece Peacock again falls down to P3 through turn 1 as we get going for our 8-lap dash. And that's Lucas Brown looking to the inside of Rossi Banham. No, Rossi Banham holds on to the lead of this race. Much shorter this time by. Surely all the pressure's on. It's race 3 and we're going once again here at Ellough Park.
Yeah, great start once again from Rossi Banham. Rossi Banham is a great start. I mean, he was extending track limits just slightly there, but it's the first lap. I mean, you just got to go straight away, and that's exactly what he's done. Lucas Brown, though, is on his tail. He's just trying to find any way past Lucas Brown. Obviously, such a fast-riding British Talent Cup rider. They've both raced in the British Talent Cup, but there's Rossi Banham. Just have a little look. They're both best friends, and both have a laugh on and off the track. We've seen there in starting grid, him having a little laugh with some of his fellow riders, and there's Taylor Lawrence in 4th place. Not the start he's wanting again. We've not seen Taylor Lawrence up where he really should be. He's been up front almost all the rounds. He's been up here with Rossi Banham and Lucas Brown, but it looks like at Ellough Park there's a little bit of a gap in lap times.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Taylor Lawrence, of course, the Pitbike 140 champion last year. Rossi Banham, vice champion. He's in this race. Lucas Brown looks at this and, oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic from Lucas Brown. What a move into the hairpin. Super late on the brakes. Absolutely brilliant. He takes the lead of the race from Rossi Banham. Rossi didn't even see that coming from a mile off. That was brilliant.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Pitbike 140s is all about. It's surprise, it's close race, and it's rivalry. It's best friends going at it. Taylor Lawrence actually is just proving me wrong. He set the fastest lap of the race, so a 50.5. He's He's about 4/10 faster than Rossi Banham in second. Rossi Banham didn't really get the best lap there, but now I think this lap is really where we're going to get to see his true pace. Rossi Banham in second place, he's been overtaken. He does not want Lucas Brown to get away. Rossi Banham, of course, in the first race, he had a pretty easy race. Although it's hard to control a race, he had a pretty easy race. There wasn't too much challenge, as we mentioned. This class has not been as close to what we've seen it for the rest of the year, but it's such a challenging track. It's such a close track. Of course, Jay King was saying how challenging it is to ride on these bikes, even though these bikes are not full sized around this track. You have to muscle it about, and it's relentless. I mean, it's 8 laps round, you're non-stop, and there's so much, you cannot let your guard down for 1 second. I mean, Taylor Lawrence is right on the back of Rossi Banham, as Taylor Lawrence sets the fastest lap of the race once again with a 50.4 this time round, almost identical to Lucas Brown in first.
Yeah, Rossi Banham all over the road. Lucas Brown, this is the pit bike race we've been waiting to see all weekend. There goes Taylor Lawrence, trying to squeeze around the outside, no, and able to make the gap appear. Rossi Banham shuts the door. As I was saying, this is what we've been waiting for all weekend. The front four, neck and neck, side by side. 5 laps left to go. The track is cooler. There was spits of rain earlier. The wind is picking up, and that's all it took to get those top 4 finally racing. Rossi getting a little bit sideways. Taylor as well. I think he actually lost the front end of the bike a little bit turning in there. And there you see Lucas Brown leading the way in the Pitbike 140s in race 3. Rossi's fallen back just a little bit. He's trying to defend from Taylor and Reece Peacock at the moment as Lucas sets the fastest lap of the race at 50.360. 4 laps left to go. Rossi weaving this one. It's such a weird run. He comes out of the corner, like weaves into the middle of the track and then back out. And I don't know why he does it, but it doesn't matter because he's still fast. He's looking to the inside, unable to make the gap a bit. But Rossi Banham, all of these top 4 guys, they've got a lot of pace on them.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, and they all have completely different riding styles and completely different lines, as was apparent there. Rossi Banham just taking a slight line. He goes down the inside there. Lucas Brown, what a move there. I mean, Andy's had a little cheeky peek behind him to see if Lucas Brown was still there, and Lucas Brown, it will be right in his tail. Lucas Brown will send him down the inside as soon as he can. These guys are best friends, and these guys, although they're friends, do not give each other liberties. They will see this happen. I mean, Taylor Lawrence will see this happen and hope for this to keep happening. Lucas Brown dives down the inside, but then Rossi Banham's up the inside once again. He's made it back. Rossi Banham still leads away. Taylor Lawrence with such an extreme riding style and such bright levers is going to want to try and pounce on Lucas Brown, but it's Lucas Brown making the move on Rossi Banham once again, but now Taylor Lawrence is getting in, but now Reece Peacock is diving down the inside. Taylor Lawrence, but he can't make it work. It's Rossi Banham who leads the way on what has been a sensational lap so far.
This is what Pitbike Racing is all about. There goes Lucas Brown back to the lead. This is the race we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for so long. There they go. A double move into the corner. There goes Rossi Banham. There goes Reece Peacock. They both go through. Brilliant stuff in the Pitbike 140s. 2 laps to go this time by. And this is what Pitbike 140s is all about here at FAB Racing. It only took a bit of a red flag and an hour's delay in the temperature to drop. And we finally got it. And Lucas Brown all over the back of Rossi Banham once again. Taylor Lawrence as well. He's looking at Reece Peacock. Rossi Banham, bit of smoke coming out the back of his bike. Haven't seen that since race 1. Hopefully everything is okay. Does Lucas Brown dive to the inside? No. Rossi, who rides so effortlessly, so easily around the circuit, he just looks like he's having fun. It's like he's doing it for a hobby. Leading the way, 1.5 laps to go. This could be any of the top 4's race.
Yes, certainly can. I mean, Rossi Banham, he's just taking a slightly wider line, which leaves the door open. But Lucas Brown cannot find any way past. But Peacock, he's got a track record of making moves on the last quarter. Can he do it here? It's such a hard task, but we go into the last lap of the race. Rossi Banham is going to try absolutely everything. Back markers are now starting to come into play, so will they get past it cleanly? Rossi Banham has, Lucas Brown has. I mean, this is really sensational stuff. 50-point dead from Rossi Banham that time round on the last lap of the race we go on to now. Rossi Banham will be putting it all into the line. He will know that Lucas Brown is right there. One mistake, Lucas Brown will be down the inside, but Reece Peacock is right on the back of Lucas Brown. Reece Peacock, he loves making moves on the last lap, but then Taylor Lawrence is also there. He's got such an extreme riding style. He gets a crazy amount of lean angle. You'll see it for this picture. But then Lucas Brown, it looks like it's a slight gap to Rossi Banham. It looks like Rossi Banham may have it in the bag right now, but nothing is over until the checker flag. 2 more corners left. Rossi Banham through the left, to the right. Rossi Banham through the final corner, then to the line. Lucas Brown comes home in second place where Rossi Banham punches the air. Reece Peacock pretty happy with that third. Nothing too ecstatic though. Taylor Lawrence in fourth. Nothing separating the top 4, and Reece Peacock with a 49.8 on that last lap.
New lap record for Reece Peacock. Breaks the one that Rossi Banham set in race 2 of 49.828 as he comes up in third. It's Rossi from Lucas, from Reece, from Taylor. Your top 4 with a 49.828. That is a massive, massive lap from Reece Peacock. But that, as we got a bike there, billowing smoke. That's a bit warm. That is, I think that's actually just steam. Might be burning water, maybe that's not healthy. That is the race that we've been waiting for all weekend from the Pitbike 140s, and finally we got the top 4 Baston. It's such a shame that we had to wait about an hour under the red flag. It's such a shame it was only 8 laps, because that was absolutely brilliant. Rossi Banham there getting the victory with a brilliant ride. He's had a brilliant weekend here at Ellough. It's Lucas Brown in P2. He led a large portion of that race as well. Brilliant stuff from him. Reece Peacock again, disappointing in third after a pole position, but I'm sure he will take it. Taylor Lawrence unfortunately ends his weekend podium list. Richard Holmes-Williams, he comes home in P5 with Chris Wells in P6. Nathan Riggey in P8. What's his name? Trystan, that's the guy. Trystan FINOCCHIARO in P8 there with Zac TOERIEN and Sean Whittaker rounding out the top 10, and that is a bike that has conked out, coming in the number 17 of Chris GEESON. That is, that's not a very healthy motorcycle on his way back in, but there you are. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff from the Pitbike 140s, and it only took us a weekend to get there. Absolutely amazing racing.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the top 4 riders bet the lap record. I mean, they're all in the 49s. It just proves what we were saying earlier with some of the junior classes. Whenever you can run with a group, it pushes each other on. It gets these lap times that you never knew were possible. We're now in the 49s. And then 3 of the riders, top 3, were on 49.8. Nothing separating them. It's such a close class. And it's really just, it's close, it's hard, but at the end of the day, it's fair racing. It's what we love to see here at FAB.